What's going on, y'all? CJ Wolfe, photographer, entrepreneur of Immortal Vision Studio. And one story that defines me is 2020 during a global pandemic, leaving and stepping out on faith of my corporate financial job and chasing my passion. All I had was, a savings of about $3,000 and a camera with some hope. And at the time, I just thought, leaning into my creativity within a world that was so unpredictable, I should go after what I love and what I knew, for the last 3 years or 4 years before I started working post-graduation. So that story really defined me because, I'm from Philly, so it shows my grit. It shows, my determination, but most importantly, never failing. So had bumps in the road and people seen that, and I was never shy to show them. But that's one story that defines me, to just chase after what I want to go after.
Voice of the hopeless, control the game like the coaches. Stay dropping gems, we the winners, coaching, you know this. Never coasting, always elevating, staying focused. When it's all said and done, we the winners, coaching, yeah. We the winners, coaching. It's all said and done.
What's good, y'all? Welcome to another episode of The Winners Culture, the podcast where we explore Black creatives' journey to success. And today we got a special guest, man. So, I always got to give my story about how the guest got up here. So, the first time I heard of Immortal Vision Studios was just on Instagram. And I kept seeing it. I seen it over and over and over again, but I really didn't think nothing of it. But then I seen a van, and the van said Immortal Visions, and then I connected with my man Manny215, and he like, bro, somebody you gotta meet, like you gotta meet him. He like, he on the same thing that you on, like his passion, his drive for creativity is amazing. Like this a link up that need to happen. And so the power of the community, we was both doing it at the same time, but we kind of missed each other, and then we seen each other at the School of the Gifted, event, man. I'm here with my man CJ Wolfe. What's going on, brother?
I'm good, bro.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. Y'all took care of me when I came in this joint. Y'all do it for all the guests like that, like food and good vibes. Yeah, it was like love, man. Like when I came in this joint, like that's love. And I seen a lot of people. It's a pleasure to sit next to you, JJ, and Blondie, because I seen a lot of people on this podcast, and a lot of good people that's doing some good stuff. And I love the mission that you're doing. So I'm glad that I'm here right now. Yeah,
like I said, I felt like this is something that we had to do sooner than later. I know you met Blondie. Didn't y'all meet
at the Roots picnic?
Yeah.
Because of Manny. Again, he introduced us.
Okay.
Shout out to Manny. He always connecting dots.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah, Manny's.
That was when Beats, when we parted ways. So I ended up finding Manny, and he kind of kept me with him the rest of the night. So he was just walking around introducing me to people.
Made some good connections, man. So we gonna get into it, right? So I know about Immortal Vision Studios and things like that, and the depth of that, and we're gonna get into that a little bit. But can you talk to us a little bit about your journey to being a photographer first?
Yeah, for sure. I picked up a camera in like 2017.
Okay.
The way I picked it up, it was like very unorthodox. I wasn't really like seeking to do photography or anything like that. I was a college athlete. It was the summertime. All I'm doing is hitting the gym, working out 2 a days, and trying to save some of my refund check money, but buying new clothes and stuff like that. And
hold on. What did you play in college?
Basketball.
Oh, you was a basketball player?
I played basketball.
Oh, all right, that's something we ain't know. Okay.
Yeah, yep. So I played basketball in college all 4 years. I actually played basketball my whole life. So like the AAU scene, high school, college, and all that. So I got to college for basketball for.
Okay. Where'd you go?
I graduated from Gwinnett Mercy.
Fire. Okay.
Yeah. So, I'm just thinking like how I can make some money. So my friend, she from a totally different place than I am. I'm from, Philly. Okay. She's from like the suburbs of Connecticut. So she just had like a camera like laying around, like collecting dust. And I was thinking like, how can I make some money? And this is like prime 2017, 2018 time. So a lot of like people I seen on Instagram, they can get next to like Travis Scott, or like this when he was on his come up. Uzi Vert was on his come up. PNB Rock. And it was like, hey, I went to this concert and I got some dope photos, and then now I'm on tour with them. I thought that was always dope. So she let me go to camera. I'm like, oh, that's dope. So now I can go take photos of my teammates that's graduating, because I was a sophomore at the time.
Okay.
You know, seniors, and this was like around April and stuff. So she let me go to camera. I started taking pictures of people. I'm like, I'm going to charge them like $50, $100. I'm thinking I'm about to come out and make all this money. But I really knew when I fell in love with it, because when I was taking pictures of my like friends of my basketball team, I was doing it for free. And sometimes I forgot like how long I was doing it, how long I was on YouTube, how long I was like studying the camera. And I would stay up like nights and days and just like figuring out like, how do I, learn about ISO? How do I learn about the exposure triangle? How do I, edit? How do I learn about Final Cut Pro? How do I learn about Lightroom? I'm like, yo, I really love this. You know how you doing something and you like, yo, I really love this. Like, I forgot that I'm doing it. So that's how I kind of got into it. Then after that, my passion of like learning was also my passion of working too. So I just was like everywhere. I shoot for free. I was working for free for like 2-3 years, and just like chasing a dream and like doing some cool stuff and like really learning how to use a camera. Okay. Which projected me to where I'm at now. Okay.
So you said you grew up in Philly, right? When you grew up in Philly, were you exposed to cameras and things like that at an early age? What was your upbringing like, coming up in Philly?
Yeah, I wasn't really exposed to like a camera per se. Like, so back in the day, I was the young boy doing everybody MySpace page.
Okay.
So I was a youngin', like everybody that was older, I would do their MySpace page. Like, it used to be like top 24, I think. I used to know how to code it, so it can be like top 1. They'd be like, yo, I want my girlfriend only on my page. I can do like the top 1. And this was the iconic time when like Pharrell was not taking off, but he was living like icon shit. He was ice creams and Bapes and all that. That was like that era. Kobe Bryant with like the famous like ripping jerseys photos, and Lil Wayne with the Carter and stuff. So it was like that era where I was like really creating MySpace pages. And I never like understood how like the images got there, but I just always knew they was dope. So I wasn't necessarily like exposed to like photography at a young age, because I never knew like that existed. The only thing I knew that existed was like you can be a barber, play ball, rap. And I was doing something with MySpace, but I'm just like, this just social media. Like, people wasn't monetizing it unless you was like a music artist at the time. So I never like knew it was like possible to like be a photographer.
This a question I had for y'all, right? Going into college, what was the careers that y'all thought you could have? Like, cause I know as a young boy, right? I was also an athlete. Going into college, I was a football player and I ran track. And going into college, the things I thought I could be was an NFL player. I thought I could be I don't know. I don't even know what's after that. I don't even know what's. I feel like I could be an NFL player. I could be a coach, or I could be like all things that got to do with sports. Like that's all. I didn't even like my brain didn't go to nothing else. Like when you was going into college, what did you think the careers was? Like?
It was the same thing. Like, it was the same thing. I went in as a business major, and I ain't gonna lie, like when I went in there, my first class, I was in there with like juniors and seniors. I'm a freshman, just play ball. Like, I'm just trying to get through school, like play sports. Like, professor asked me like this crazy question I did not know. Like, I was so embarrassed because I didn't do the homework and anything like that. I'm like, yo, I'm switching this major. I start asking like people around campus, like, yo, what's the easiest classes I can do? And they was like, communications and marketing. And I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. So I just like switched it over. Then that's when they gave me a project, like make a Nike ad, Nike commercial. I'm like, oh, this is cool. And then when I got the camera, I'm like, oh, it makes sense. And then I just started plugging and playing.
Blondie, what was the careers you thought you could be?
Honestly, my story is kind of similar to yours. So, well, growing up, I didn't think you could be many careers outside of like. Also, I would stereotype careers by like ethnicity, which I know is kind of bad, but I was a kid, so I thought only people of Asian culture did nails, and like black women did hair, and black men like, were barbers and stuff. But when I went into college, my major was pre-med. I wanted to be a doctor. But
you went into college pre-med? Okay, keep on. I didn't know that.
But I did switch majors, and because I was looking for the easiest thing, I was just trying to get out of it. I was trying to graduate, and I ended up in communications, and I fell in love with it like from just the intro class. I took the intro class kind of late in my college career, but I fell in love with the intro class. I loved my advisor. I loved the projects, the editing. Like, I liked being a part of a collective effort, but being able to work on it individually. That was like the perfect middle spot for me.
No, that makes sense.
So, yeah.
Well, you say you dodged the bullet getting out of pre-med. Like, I stayed in Kensington. That was crazy. But all right, so CJ, right? So you was a business major, right? But you had, at this point, you picked up a camera, right?
Yeah.
And so coming out of college, where was your head at? What was you doing? What were you trying to do?
Oh, yeah, so I was still doing photography. So, like, when I was a sophomore, I was doing photography. Then I transferred, so I did an extra year. So I did 5 years of school. When I was a sophomore, I picked up a camera. But when I graduated, I was actually a financial advisor, working in business. And I got into that because my friend, the same guy that I was in my business class with, he really exposed me to, like, different stuff. I used to, like, take trips with him, go up to his house. He was in Scranton. And he just exposed me to, like, books. And I really realized, like, you can be whatever you want to be as long as you got the information. And me being a communications major, I'm walking in downtown corporate offices and talking about finance. And you can be a financial advisor as long as, like, you have a, like, entrepreneurial spirit to, like, build up your book of business, sell these stocks, life insurance, whatever it is that you have your licenses in to sell. So I was a financial advisor for about a year and a half, and then the pandemic hit. But during the same time, I was doing photography. The pandemic really allowed me to, like, it forced me to slow down because I found myself in 3 different countries in 3 different weeks with, like, different NFL clients and stuff like that, documenting their lifestyle. And I was missing meetings with my corporate job. And I remember my mentor told me, you can only choose one. You're going to be a great photographer or a great financial advisor. And I'm like, damn, I can combine the 2 worlds and make my own.
Make your own business.
Yeah.
Damn. So that's what led you to be an entrepreneur when you got to that crossroads, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So before we get into like what it was like being an entrepreneur and that whole thing, because that's his own thing, right? What was your biggest highlights of being a photographer?
Yeah, I mean, I still got many of them.
Right.
Photography is cool. It's a art form. It's a form of art. Just like seeing things and, like, stopping it, you know, like seeing live action, like freezing a frame, like capturing it and capturing it in a different way that you may not capture it, or you may not capture it as well. So I think for me, I like projects that kind of, like, get me out of bed and, like, that's impactful. So some of them was, like, one of my favorite ones when I was traveling with Will Parks in, like, 2020. Yeah, we was in different countries and stuff, but he was really, like, training because he just got traded to the Eagles at that time. Okay. And the Eagles was coming off a Super Bowl. Right. So I was shooting, like, the Super Bowl stuff because I'm here in Philly, and he's leaving Denver off his contract, about to come to Philadelphia. But then the pandemic happened, so he couldn't go inside the facilities. It wasn't like a regular NFL offseason. Right. So we had to get creative on, like, how he worked out. And I got some cool pictures of, like, him just working out in the house or living room or on team meetings on his iPad when they would usually be inside the facility, stuff like that. So that was, like, really, like, a big highlight for me on, like, documenting that time of, like, craziness of the pandemic, but people still working on their craft, you know, on their profession.
What did you learn from that time? Like, you know, Will Parks, shout out to Will Parks, NFL player, right? So you watching him, you following him around, like, that's got to be a different level of work ethic, right? Like, What did you learn from that? Like,
always be ready. Always be ready, because even before that, I was, like, working with a lot of artists at the time, and, like, you know, you never know when, like, when your time gonna be called. Like, you can literally be chilling, like, yo, I'm about to go here or go shopping with my mom or take my mom somewhere. Like, you got to be ready to go, no matter, like, what you doing, or you don't have to. Like, you may lose, you know, your opportunity, but I was just always ready to go. And that's just kind of, like, prepare my mindset to always be ready, always have my camera with me, and, like, learn on the fly and be fast with it, no matter, like, what the setting, the lighting is, like, learn how to master it. And that helped me kind of, like, learn my camera better and be able to, you know, maneuver with it at a faster rate. So it was like workout, then a meeting, then shopping, then dinner, then wake up in the morning, workout. It just was like full day of stuff. But it was like cool though.
And when did you start making all of your connections? I mean, because we're kind of like breezing through it, but you were a fresh graduate or a year off of graduation, and you're following NFL players around and artists, like, you know, around to multiple countries. Like, when did you start establishing those connections to be able to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I played sports too. So, like, it was funny because when I first got into it, a lot of people was like, you play basketball. Mm-hmm. So, especially, like, during my off season when I'm a junior or when I'm going into my senior year, they like, why you not working out with us? Why you taking photos? But I wasn't thinking, like, I want to go to the NBA. I'm like, I want to be, like, I'm learning my craft, which is going to, you know, eventually set me up for after school. So it just was like during that time, you know, being from Philadelphia small, I always did like good work for people. I was always available. And I never really I looked at relationships more important than like the money. So athletes would hit me up like, can you do this? I'm still new. Like I probably don't know my menu settings at the time. That was
crazy.
Still my practice.
That's crazy.
So how can I say, all right, I need to charge you this amount of money? I'm like, all right, this is the relationship which is going to propel me, you know, into my career. So it just was like a lot of those stacking up good shoots, good business, and that's how we got there.
So, all right, so now you was shooting with Will Parks. You ain't even really like know what you was doing all the way at the time, right? Yeah. What, like, I guess how to say this, right? So you was an athlete, right? Mm-hmm. Where did your passion, where did your drive, where did your fearlessness when it came to photography, when it came to your ambition, like where did that come from? What drove you?
Yeah, I mean, just like growing up in Philadelphia and just like, that was like my way out for real. As I started getting more into it, I realized like this is opening up new doors that I've never been in. So let me keep on this path because I don't know where it's going to take me. Since I did play like sports and stuff, I'm like naturally competitive, so I like a challenge. So the fact that I couldn't just crack the code and like learn a camera, it was like, all right, I want to keep going. The more I kept going, like the more opportunities just opened up, and it's like, yo, this is cool.
Fire.
This is cool. And then, you know, other people appreciating that artwork and like purchasing your prints from you, and other photographers asking like, hey, you know, can you teach me to use the camera and stuff like that? That was impactful work because I linked up with Will through someone else that was like, we doing a NFL workout, and I skipped class that day and I just went, but he opened up the door for me, Key Vandaway, and he was like, yo, go do your thing. I didn't know what I was doing, but you know, we just locked in. Yeah,
that's crazy. So a question I want to ask, like both of y'all, or like open question is, like, what gave you, because we all kind of entrepreneurs up here, but like, what gave you the courage to kind of switch gears or switch fields or, you know, do a career change? Because a lot of people be scared to, like, you know, you was a financial advisor. I'm sure you was making good money because that's, you know, the money is in handling the money. Yeah. So it's like, you feel what I'm saying? That takes a level of fearlessness that I feel like a lot of people our age don't have, and a lot of the older generation don't encourage for you feel what I'm saying? So what gave you that, and what advice would you give to people that's in that crossroads?
You want to take that first?
I think that looking back, I definitely would advise someone to create a plan. I definitely was funny.
Nothing funny. Like that's real rap. You like, if you jump out, I kind of jumped out in the water. That was crazy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah, I would advise people to make a plan, because I also just, I wouldn't say I jumped out in the water, but I didn't know what I wanted to do when I graduated from college. And I feel like when you don't know what you want, you open yourself up to anything. And it got to a point where it's like I got kind of desperate, and it's like I'll work wherever. Like, I don't care. Like, I'll work wherever. And I ended up working in corporate America. I was working HR for a nonprofit company. And the job itself was great, but it just wasn't for me. Like, it just wasn't for me overall. The staff, the crowd, all of it just wasn't my vibe. But I was also working at the hair salon as well. I was doing both. And it really just took one bad day for me. Like, you know how you like can thug it out and you just are pulling your rope every day, pulling your rope. And one day I really was at the end of my rope and I was like, I couldn't do it anymore. So, and it got to the point where my clients needed me more than the job needed me. And I didn't really have enough time to do both. So I was like, I might as well leave because I'm making more money doing hair and what I really wanted to be doing anyway. So.
I agree though. Like creating a plan. Like I had an exit plan. I really wanted to do like 5 years corporate though, but I opened up the studio at the time, and we was just like doing events. So nobody could do events like because Ellen and I was like shutting everything down.
Right.
So
nobody needed the service.
Yeah, and we was inside a warehouse building, so they couldn't come inside.
Okay.
And shut it down. So like we was running it up off events.
Okay.
So I'm like, damn, like this joint booming, like. So I'm like, I'm gonna just leave right now. Like, I'm gonna just leave. And it's the pandemic. Everybody had money. Everybody trying to pay for stuff. So that would kind of like, all right, bet. Let me see. And then I was like traveling and stuff. So I'm like, all right, cool. Like,
so you didn't even feel no fear for real.
I didn't, because I'm like, because when I graduated, I had got like a lot of like licensing, like my Series 7, SIE. That's really just like sell certain like stocks and mutual bonds and stuff like that. So I'm like, if anything fails, I can just go back. I got all these certificates. Like, I got experience, like a year. It's not much, but I can just go back, and I know, somebody gonna hire me, and that's what I did.
So you just bet on yourself, basically. You like
100%.
You feel what I'm saying?
I'm like, ain't no way I can like lose.
Right. Because if it go wrong, I'll just go back to what I know.
Go back to work.
Right.
And I think like exposure is big though, like especially when you're young, like. Yeah. And I understand everybody didn't go to college. So like college, I look at college like a vacation for real. Network with people and figure out like what you like to do. Like figure out what major. It seemed like me and you, we switched our majors during school. You probably thought about switching your major.
I did. I ain't even gonna lie, it was damn hard.
So it's like figure out what you want to do, but everybody don't get that luxury to like go to school. But that's why it's important that you keep providing spaces like this, like the podcast. And so I know you got a lot, like the next generation looking at this. And you may interview somebody about trucking. And they may be like, yo, that sounds cool. Let me see who can help me with trucking. Or I know you work for a nonprofit, and check that stuff out. And then, now they're exposed to something that they probably didn't know exist. Right. Or probably didn't know the resources was there. So that's why I would say, like, have a game plan, like just try stuff out. And you're going to know when you love it. Right. You just going to keep going nonstop.
Real quick, right before we go on to the next question, when y'all was in college, did y'all go in with a strategy? Did y'all have like, I'm here for this reason? Like, no, you was just in there and then just
because everybody say
go to college.
Yeah, literally, everybody said.
Because a lot of people tell kids either don't go to college because you're gonna rack up all this debt, you never gonna know what you're doing, and you just gonna come out with no debt with no plan, right? And then other people say do go to college, and the reasons why they say go to college be based upon how they navigated through the joint. You feel what I'm saying? So I was wondering if y'all had a strategy when y'all was in there, or you was winging it.
You just play basketball. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, like
real rap.
My mindset was just don't drop out, like
don't quit.
Don't drop. Yeah, like don't quit, don't drop out.
Wow.
Like they was rooting for me at home.
When my dad had sent me to college, he told me like the grades is cool, but like you there to network. Like so go to the parties. Like, but don't fail, but go to the parties. And he was right. Shout out to my pop. All right. So the next joint, right? So now we at Immortal Vision Studios, right?
Yes, sir.
So in the early days of establishing Immortal Vision Studios, what are some things that you proud of, and what are some things that you wish you did better?
Yeah, I mean, we still early. Right. Like still very early.
I mean, y'all 5 years in, right?
Nah, 3.5.
3.5.
But I touched 4 years in December.
Still, that's longer than most, startups exist. You feel what I'm saying? So like, you more to the stage of, being
getting to the next level.
Exactly. You feel what I'm scaling.
Yep. 100%. That's where we at right now. Some stuff I'm proud about. Yeah. I mean, we worked on some cool projects and like some impactful stuff. And like, man, our studio, we do 80 appointments a month. And that's people just renting it out. So our space is like an Airbnb for photographers and videographers. So individuals renting out our space. We do 80 of those a month. So I'm proud of that, not just because of the numbers of 80 individuals, or may not be 80 individuals. People probably book it, more than once, but I'm more proud of the space we created for amateur photographers, seasoned professionals to come inside of a nice environment and get treated the way that they get treated, but educated as well. And not only that, we provide that space, but we are able to put them and connect them to other jobs to keep that afloat and to keep the economy going. So I'm really proud of like building what we built so far and creating that space for a lot of individuals to thrive and create a network for them to continue to chase their dreams like we are doing today. The thing that you said that's in a way a little bit,
or things that you wish you could have did better, or you learned from early on. You feel what I'm saying? When you was
I don't really regret anything, because what I'm learning, or what I learned early on, is that it's a process to everything, and you have to go through the journey in order to reach the success or whatever you're chasing. God not going to give you anything unless you're prepared for it. It took me a long time to like figure that out, but the journey is like really beautiful, because when you sit back on it, it's like, yo, we had a studio. I didn't even know what C-stance was. I didn't know what backdrops was. People used to laugh. Yeah.
You had the studio before you knew what C-stands and backdrops was?
Yes.
That's fire.
Like
y'all gotta understand how bad he's snapping, yo.
Like my C-stands, like I didn't have C-stands. I had I didn't even know about sandbags, bro. Right. So I would sit like book bags on a stand.
so the joint don't fall over.
I have pictures of
it.
The
joint don't
exactly. Like
y'all make it work.
But I'm like, at that time, I'm running around, I'm shooting all these different artists. I'm like, the goal was to bring them through the stew. Yeah. It didn't really work that way. Because so many other like photographers and other individuals like, yo, I need to rent out the space. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like that's the play. That's what we're gonna run. Right. But we also gonna, continue to incorporate this other stuff. So I don't really have nothing like that. I wish what I would have known, because like it's the journey to prepare me for what's next. Right. And everything I didn't know, I learned throughout the journey, and I'm continuing to learn.
That's such a wonderful mindset to have. Because I feel like our society, our generation, everything, like we want instant gratification. Like nobody wants to go through the journey. Even myself at some points, it's like you just want the end like now.
No, I think we've had a lot of people up here, and a lot of people that people would consider successful. You feel what I'm saying? I don't think nobody who's been up here so far has had the level of like fearlessness when it came to like going after the opportunity that you're expressing. Like understanding that like I don't know everything about this camera, but I'm gonna go on this trip and I'm gonna take these pictures anyway. I don't know everything about how to run a studio space or what every little piece of equipment the studio space need, but I know that I can run a studio space and it's gonna work. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? And it did. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? That's so powerful.
Yeah, success loves speed.
Yeah.
You gotta be fast. So like me and my team, right, just today, we did like 5 projects, right? We had 3 of them at 12 o'clock on a Monday. Now that's regular. Now we're doing 80 clients, 80 studio rentals a month, but we also are servicing
too, right?
About like 20 clients a month.
Right.
But you got to be fast with it. You're going to mess up. You're going to, forget, SD card, forget your settings or, little stuff. But you got to be fast and you got to chase it and keep chasing it, and you're going to learn.
Yeah.
You're going to learn. So like I tell my team all the time, like, yo, let's be fast. We got the quickest turnaround time like I ever seen.
Right.
Like 24 hours.
Right.
Like 24 hours turnaround time. And that's embedded into our internship program, to our studio associates, and even to our leadership team. Yeah. The great thing is I did photography. I did videography. I still do. I'm still hands-on with a lot of things. So the fact that I know how to do it, I can like teach Blondie how to do it quickly and she can get it done. Yeah. But we can't be waiting around. We can't be messing around with projects and taking all day, because we got to move on to the next one.
Yeah.
So like you just got to be like, forget it. Like I don't care what happened. I'm going to get it done. If I mess up, hopefully there's a tomorrow. You just keep doing it.
24-hour turnover is crazy. That's amazing. You know, I did a photo shoot some years ago, and I'm still waiting on the pictures to come back. I swear, I promise. It had to be like 2019.
She said I did a photo shoot some years ago. You might as well.
2 separate photographers.
Did you get your bread back?
No, 2 separate photographers, might I add. And they just got all of the pictures somewhere in the archives.
You still need a photo shoot? We got you.
He said this is an opportunity. That's what that sounds like to me. Yeah.
No, we open up the studio right now. We right down the street.
Yo, that's really crazy. All right, so you clearly you have a mentality of fearlessness when it comes to, or a mentality that you go after that's going to come. You feel what I'm saying? Was you ever in a situation where you felt like, man, this might not work, or was you ever in a situation where it was like it might be over, like I need to slow it down? Like
absolutely. I felt like this one time, and I got my camera stolen out of our studio space. So we got our equipment stolen. As I told you, like we are servicing a lot of people, right? So the studio is cool. We can still rent that out, but we are servicing people. So now I have to go rent cameras, and that takes our profit margin down. And from that, we're not making as much. We still got to pay payroll. We are backed up on rent. It took like $15,000 worth of equipment. When you add like everything up. And that was my first camera too, like that I used.
It meant something to you.
It meant something to me. So I'm just like, I just want the camera, and it had like a red case on it. So I'm like, I just want at least a rubber case on it. That joint chalk.
So how did you recover? Like what was your
for sure? I was like, damn, like it may be over. Right then and there, I didn't think of that. I'm like, let me figure it out. But I learned a lot of lessons. That's why I was saying the journey. I didn't have security cameras up in the space. People were like, wow, you didn't. We never had an issue with that, like ever. We still don't. We never had anything that happened in our studio, God forbid. Like nothing will ever happen. But I'm like, all right, cool, I got to get security cameras. My insurance didn't cover equipment. Like it didn't protect the equipment. It was only general liability. Okay, I learned that. Let me get that. And the whole time, though, I don't have the money to purchase the cameras. I don't got the security cameras. I don't got the money to purchase the insurance, but I'm learning. So I'm like, all right, what can I do? So I start learning about grants. At the time, I had someone on my team doing a lot of grants, but I never paid it no mind because I like closing deals. We have a foundation nonprofit, but I don't really touch that part. I like the business part of it. That's what gets me out of bed every day. But I started learning about like grants and opportunities. So we came across a grant at the time. And when we came across it was the same time when a landlord was trying to kick us out. So we had to go to court for it. This is my first time like, damn, are we going to get evicted? I'm like, I can't. Like we rolling too much. I can't. I didn't have the funds because every time we would do a job, I got to rent equipment. So I'm like, wow, I don't know what to do. They gave us like a few days. If you don't pay it within like 30 or 45 days, you out. I really couldn't do it. Came across a grant. I never really touched the grants. I always had my team do it, but I'm like, I'm going to do this one. It's called the emergency grant, the merchant fund. If you went through any type of emergency, your building caught on fire, you got floodage, whatever. Like this grant is for individuals like that. I'm like, this is this perfect for us. I filled out the grant. We're then here now. I'm thinking we about to get kicked out. I got to come up with some money. I don't have no friends to really call to help me out because the bill was so big and you got to pay everything off for the rent. So they called and was like, hey, you made it to the next round. We want to come see your space. I'm like, all right, cool. Most likely when you get to that second round, you're like, all right, we might get it. I'm like, all right, cool. So they came in. I'm talking to them. I'm like, yeah, like this, they took our cameras. Like, I can't do nothing. Like, but I didn't really tell them about like, them trying to kick us out. They called me back and was like, hey, you got the grant. What's your bank account information? We're going to wire you the money. It was like $10,000. Wow. And they sent it to me. They text me that. They emailed me that on like Friday. I got the money on like Monday.
Wow.
And I went and paid the rent. And then I learned from all that. And then, we got running. So I'm like, by the grace of God, we was going to get through. But that just showed like being faithful, to God and everything, it's gonna work out. It's gonna work out. You know what I mean?
I know you had to feel like God was real after that. Like
100%.
I know you had to feel like God was real because that's a crazy story, yo. Like to be that close to the brink after like everything that you put in, and I know it had to feel like an emotional toll too, because you know you lost the equipment, but you also lost your first camera. You also lost the project that was your baby, the business itself. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like that's a lot that gotta weigh on you. But the faith to say like that it's not over, man.
I felt so violated. Like somebody, like I never, like nobody ever like actually went in my crib or like anything, God forbid, like and took anything. So I felt violated, especially like my camera too. Like, so that was just crazy.
Right. So. Damn, that's really crazy. I had to take that in for a second. Once again, like a testament to your story and a testament to your resilience as a person. You feel what I'm saying? Fighting through that. So
and
like
that's a lot of stuff in entrepreneurship. A lot of people don't see.
Yeah, you feel what I'm saying?
They just think it's like, oh,
like you doing the best thing in the world. You got all your time. Like
people think, oh, you have a team. You don't got to work. Oh, you getting clients. You have a lot of money. All that stuff is going. That money come in. It go right out.
So rebounding off that situation, right? When did you start to feel like, okay, I got this? Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, because even after that, you still kind of in the hole. Like, you still got to get back a little bit. You feel what I'm saying? When did you start to feel like, okay, I'm all right. I can keep going. You feel what I'm saying? This is
when I seen that support. Like, support was real. Like, they heard my story. It was like real, and they was able to like help me out financially. And I seen. After that, I just started seeing like a lot of different resources and people helping. And that was our only grant that we received. But like just knowing like there's resources out here, there's, you know, great people out here that's able to help you and uplift you and get you through it. Even being on this podcast, it's like you created this platform for people to share their story so other people don't got to go through it. They can learn something, but you increasing people's visibility of their brand and their business. So I really started tapping into that and like, all right, cool. You know, we good. You know, if I could have left my job and I could have got my stuff, you know, taken from me and I bounced back from all that. And from my job, I was making like 80 grand. My first year in business only made like 60 grand. And then that's not even keeping 60 grand profit. That's just 60 sales.
Right.
So I'm really not making no money, but I'm like, all right, cool. If I can get through that, I can get through anything.
Right.
And, you know, just through time, I'm like, it's gonna work out. Yeah.
What made you, what attracted you to entrepreneurship? Like, what made you feel like say that like this is the way that I want to go and I'm sticking to it?
Because you can like kind of like create your own. Like, I like being in control of my creativity, even when I was making like MySpace pages or like shooting like hobby and stuff. So I like being in control of my creativity. I seen that you had the guy up here from EYL with the podcast, right? And I think that I'm a big fan of that podcast. And when I was in finance, I was trying to like pitch that idea as well, right? But you got to go through so many like compliances in corporate. And I'm like, my people need to hear this stuff. Right. And I'm glad someone like EYL is like around because it's like so much culture and financial education. So I was like, yo, you know what? Like, I need to be in control of my creativity. That's why I was like, you can still be creative. You can still have an entrepreneurship spirit and do it like and enjoy sales. Like, you don't have to be this creative and not like sales or not get stuff done. Like, you can still do it. So that's what like I kind of enjoy about it.
And I'm glad you brought up EYL too, because their platform is based on helping, you know, black people get to financial freedom, right? In what ways have y'all seen like black people strive towards financial freedom? And like, especially for you, because like you was in finance, what do you think could help us, you know, go further as a people developing our economic base?
Yeah, I mean, that's a deep question. It's a lot of things that kind of go into that. Of like black people get into wealth, and I say wealth, but I think the biggest thing is like group economics right now, and like just like being able to I wouldn't say support others. People say support me. All right, I can buy some merch right now, but like, how is that helping the support of like you getting your merch from like a cheaper rate, right? So say if you're getting your shirts for like $10 and you're selling them for 40, like we got to help the economy when it's like, all right, how can I make your shirts for $5 or is me still getting it from somewhere else and making it make sense? You understand what I'm saying?
That's what you're saying.
So like, I think that's like the biggest thing, like when it comes to entrepreneurship of like, we can say support me or get a photo shoot with me, but it's like, are you really helping me get to that next level of like grants? Are you really getting me to that next level of like investors where I can like have access to funding that's like not, you know, killing me over the top or that's not wanting, you know, some crazy return on it, or not being a shark about it. So I just think like coming together and like, I mean, you probably see it a lot of times too. Yeah. Everybody want to be a boss now. Everybody want to have their own. Where it's like, if we can come together and you good at one thing, I'm good at one thing, let's create an empire together instead of like everybody trying to run something and making nothing from it. Yeah. But just because the look. I think once we get away from that as people and whole, and like a society, you know, we'll be much better. But I mean, who am I to say that?
No, I feel like you right on point, because one of the biggest things like I learned from everybody who made it work, who came up here, and just from like seeing like myself just paying attention, is exactly what you said, like group economics. Like a lot of times, a lot of the more successful people aren't afraid to be in community with other people that are going the same way as them. And I think as black people, a lot of times like a certain type of selfishness is preached to us or ingrained in us because we haven't had a lot. You feel what I'm saying? And a lot of times we look over each other's shoulders like, you know, you going to cheat me or you going to take my opportunity, as if it's not a million opportunities, or like you taking the opportunity first might just mean you open the door for whoever coming with you. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? And so that's why I really resonate. And to answer like that question, I think in certain sectors, that's one of the ways that we're really starting to understand how to grow as a community towards financial freedom, is understanding that we need each other. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And another way is through understanding that like what we say, like our talent is valuable. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? And I think that, you know, on high levels like the NFL, NBA, right, is people that already validate their talent. Yep. But on lower levels is we have a tendency to believe that, you know, we might not be as valuable as whoever, for, you know what I'm saying? But really the bigger corporations are stealing from us. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? They looking to see what we doing down here to see what they going to do up there. So understanding that value right from the get-go really can make a difference in all of our situations.
No, for sure. You know
what I'm saying? I feel like the younger generation also is kind of taking the limitations off of what can be done. And I think there's still a long way to go, but the knowledge is power. Like, as cliche as that is, it really is. And the more that we see, the more we believe can be done, or the more we believe we can achieve, you know?
100%.
So CJ, right, like, on your journey to this point, right, this a part of the show that we call, like, redefining success, right? What did you think success was going to be when you first started Immortal Vision, and what is success to you now?
Honestly, when I started Immortal Vision, like, I always just been like, let's just do something that never been done before. Let's just disrupt first here, you know, the city of Philadelphia. I wasn't really like chasing like anything else besides that. How can I create something that's like for black creators? I never really seen that before. And I'm 28. My entire team under 32. So I'm like, how can we create something where it's like young people that's intelligent, that's black, you know, on it. You know what I mean? So that's what I was really chasing, of like getting older individuals or different corporations and stuff like that to understand like what we are doing and like to take us serious. That was like, just give me a seat at the table. I can do everything else. That was like always my mindset from like starting, because, you know, it's like in equity, like it's harder when you're young and like trying to say this is what I do and like your brand and your business. So, but now what I look at, I mean, what I look at now is like success is like what you just talked about, like group economics, and like how many people can I put in position so they can keep chasing their dreams and keep feeding them. And of course, money is how you pay your bills, right? How can I keep feeding you money and opportunities? Because you may be working for Immortal Vision Studio now, but our goal is to get you to own your own studio. You know what I mean? And then we can partner up and go do shoots together for Nike, Adidas, Sony, etc. So that's what success looks like for me now. Bringing as many people up from under me, and like, cool, everybody be like, yo, I want to shoot like you, or I want to, you know, have my photos good like you. Like, that's cool, but like, it's a whole nother side to it. And like, that's my vision. That's like my purpose. How can we get you from here to like, yo, I want to be a dope photographer, to like, I want to own something.
Yeah.
And like, for me, I don't own all the Immortal Vision Studio, but I also don't have an investor that gave me $20,000 to give it up.
Right.
There's a lot of, you know, people that I came up with, you know, Mo and Carissa, with like sweat equity. And I'm like, listen, I can't do it by myself. Take some percentages and let's rock with it. And so it's like, what is it to me if it's all about CJ and Immortal Vision Studio? It's about a collective of people doing dope stuff and running it.
That's fire. That's really fire. So you talked about, you know, being taken seriously and some of the you know, getting in the room, right? You feel what I'm saying? And I see that you've brought a product, you know, that you want to talk about a little bit.
Yeah.
So tell us what's on the table.
Oh yeah. So this is our 28-in-1 camera cleaning kit. It's your essentials for your camera, right? Let me ask you, you do photography, right?
Right.
How many times you clean your camera?
How many times do I clean it? Honestly, I probably clean the lens every time. I clean the lens every time.
Okay, how do you clean it?
I clean it with a soft
Microfiber?
Yeah, microfiber joint. Yeah. Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah, that's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you get your microfibers, cloths?
I just got one that I always use. It's just in the bag. Like, yeah.
Got you. So our 28-in-1 camera cleaning kit is 28 pieces for one in one box, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got your air blower that you need, that you're messing off with. Of course, we got our microfiber cloth. We got our lens brush, sensory cleaner swabs, so you can clean inside of your sensor. Double-sided lens plans, cleaning spray, lens tissue paper, wet and dry wipes, and most importantly, a storage case.
Right.
So you can place all of those things inside of this case. You take it on the go with you. It's like a little pouch. You can put other stuff in there if you need to.
Right.
And every time you're about to do a shoot, or when you're just cleaning up your equipment, you just bring that out and you clean it out.
Right.
Now, the good thing about this is that we have instructions on how to use it, because we are all about educating amateurs, right? And even if you're a professional, that's cool. You can still take advantage of it, but we are about educating amateurs on how to take care of the equipment, because my man John Sco, he educated me on number one reason on why cameras break or damage is because they got a lot of dust inside of their sensors and mess everything up. So we wanted to be able to help individuals, whether you're a hobbyist, whether you just collect cameras, whatever it is, to make sure that camera don't go on you. So we got our newest product, 28-in-1. It drops in August of 2024. And we're going to hit the market with it. And it's going to be one of the biggest things that our generation or our market, ever seen. So we got a lot of other accessory products coming out through our studio space, but not only we providing a space, not only we provide services, not only that we are big in the community and giving back and things of that sort, but now we are taking it to a next level to help you take care of your camera.
Fire. What went into the production of this particular product? Like, tell us about, it's a box here, it's a case here, it's things in the box, like it's specific things for a reason. What went into that?
The thing that went into it is I've been doing a case study since we opened up the studio. And the thing about our studio is just not you walk in and go for yourself. We have an assistant there. The assistant makes sure the backdrop is the color that you want, your lighting is good, your music is good, the air is on, the heat is on, whatever that looks like. A lot of times people just was taking their camera out of their book bags and like, I'm ready to go.
Right.
They was just walking in, no lens cap, I'm ready to go. I mean, even for myself, like I'll put it inside my Pelican, like I'm good. But, you know, it really started when my camera got stolen. And I'm like, yeah, I need to take care of my equipment a little bit more, right? And not just cleaning it, but also storing it the right way and things of that sort. So over the 3.5 years, it was really a thing of like, I'm just thinking of like, how can I continue to help photographers and serve them better? We have this space, cool, but like, what's the next thing? And I'm just like, all right, I think this is it. Along with some other things that we're gonna roll out within the next few months, but we had to start off with protecting the lens, the insides, and you can use it for your phone camera as well. Mm-hmm. If I ask you to take a picture of me on my phone, what's the first thing you're gonna do probably?
Grab the bottom of my.
You're gonna wipe it off, right? And you're really not doing nothing but just making sure for that one time the picture is good. But if we give you all of these essentials inside of this case, you probably won't have to clean it until what? What you think, John? Like one time every 2 weeks or something like that?
Really? Nothing like no makeup, no hairspray, no.
I mean, of course, it depends what you're doing. Okay. So if you have your phone and you're working on construction and it's a lot of air and debris going around, you may have to clean it, you know, a few more times.
Okay.
Right? But if you're not doing much and you're going into an office, it's clean, it's not a lot of dust, you may have less time to clean it. If you're using your camera only one time a month,
that makes sense. There's
no need to clean it all the time. But we wanted to make the first one 28-in-1, where it's like this can last you like a year maybe.
Okay. Fire. Okay. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, I mean, so we gonna get in. So we gonna get into the last section of the interview. It's called "Drop Some Gems," where we ask the authorities on the matter about certain things specific to their craft, right? So the first question I want to ask you is, what do you feel like is the key to strong brand partnerships?
Oh, that's a good question, but it's like a cliche answer. Adding value. So being in I like to call it strategic partnerships, and that's just adding value. I like to under-promise and over-deliver. So if I say, hey, I'm going to give you 30 images for my deliverables, 30 assets of images, I'll probably throw like 45 in there. Mm-hmm. And if I say, okay, we're going to do it in a 48-hour turnaround, I'll probably do it in 24. Mm-hmm. And if you want a certain type of video, and say if I know, you know, you like, I just want a video. I'm like, okay, well, we can do that video. We can format it in social format and TV format as well for your YouTube. I'm educating the client on there's multiple ways on how we can format your videos, and it's for different platforms that you want to place it on. Mm-hmm. Just with that, they feeling more comfortable. They feel like they can trust me, and they don't got to be all over my back and my team, you know, micromanaging everything. Sometimes you still may get that, but I think it's just about over delivering and also adding value and educating, you know, the partner, you know, within your partnership.
Okay, next question. So I was just talking to Manny last week, and he was saying that, you know, as an entrepreneur, you eat what you kill. You feel what I'm saying? So how do you go about, you know, branding your studio as well as your personal services, and, you know, closing a sale or knowing what you know, what opportunity is right for what you got going on? You feel what I'm saying? And closing it.
Yeah, for sure. So like for me, as I operate as a photographer, you'll go on my Instagram, you have to go like look very, very like far down to see my work. Mm-hmm. I stopped posting my work in probably like 2020, maybe 2021, maybe. A lot of people say, why? So I look at myself, I am an artist. Mm-hmm. Everyone is an artist. But when I was working with like a lot, like heavily with like hip hop artists, I seen how they branded themselves, right? So of course, like, you know how rappers is, the chains, the walking in, I need my back end money, I need my front, they coming in with an entourage and stuff like that. But they always had like a photographer. So I'm like, I'm gonna take that same formula that they have, but I'm gonna make it for a photographer, right? So as I'm shooting stuff or I'm doing stuff around in the city and stuff like that, I'm a photographer, but I'm gonna make sure I got a photographer with me, right? I seen how, you know, they brand themselves of like not showing their work, but showing who's actually doing the work. So we know people make good music, but it's like we may like Lil Durk because he really in the trenches in Chicago and neighborhood hero, and like we can actually see that, we can feel that. The music is good, but we feel him on a personal level. So that's how I look at myself. I never put I'm open for bookings. I never put, you know, we looking for photo shoots. Like I never put that.
Right.
Never put that on socials. And the brands, the companies, they understand that. So they go from, oh, this is the cool guy, you know, CJ that's got a lot of, you know, youth following him and he's shooting, you know, A-list celebrities. You know, he's cool. We need him to shoot X, Y, and Z because we know what we're going to get from his marketing or branding. And they already know my work is good. So I just kind of like follow that formula of like, you'll see Meek Mill, he'll get signed to Atlantic Records, and then he'll make Dream Chasers. And then he'll get artists under him, right? So it's like when you get to a certain level of your skill, one thing that I learned really early is like, okay, I'm at this certain level of my skill. Let me get other people under me, bring them up to the next big thing, and I'll just keep, you know, doing what I gotta do. You know what I mean? So that's like my key of like how I brand myself, and it's like very unorthodox of like a photographer that's like, yo, book me, I'm open. It's more so like, this is my lifestyle, this is what I'm doing, I'm giving back to the community, I'm moving like an artist, which I am, but I'm just doing it in a different way that most photographers, you know, wouldn't do.
Yeah. So it's not like you just selling a service, you more promoting the brand and letting the service part come. Yeah, that's fire. Yeah. Okay, so last question in this section, right? Upcoming photographer, what's 3 tips that you would get them?
Always have your camera. Always have your camera with you. Always, you know, just always have your camera because you never know what's going to happen. Have it tucked in, of course. Don't let it get stolen and stuff like that. The second one, you always got your camera. Value the opportunity in a relationship over than the money. A lot of people chasing like $200 for photographers. Like my homie just hit me up the other day like, yo, these photographers messing it up. They saying $100 specials, and you know, if you ain't talking to me or no budget, I'm not working with you, I'm not answering. It's like, that's cool, but you never know. People never forget you from like how you make them feel. And like for me, I'm answering for whoever. If I rock with you, or I believe in your music, or I believe in your vision, whatever you got going on, even to this day, I may be like, all right, cool, let's work something out. So you can get like some leverage on that. So always like value the opportunity. You got to be thankful for the opportunity, no matter where you are. You got to be thankful for the opportunity. Don't worry about the money because you're worrying about $300, $200. Then the third thing is stay consistent. People love the journey. People love to see you grow. So no matter if your work is like, you know, below basic, embrace that, because when you look back in your archives, you can be able to see like how much you grew, and it'll make you appreciate the journey. But most importantly, other people will appreciate the journey, and they will thank you. They will be thankful for you that, you know, you stayed with it, and they'll be more willing to give you an opportunity.
Fire. Like that was a great 3. All right, so the last question is, right, give us some games. So this is just a section where you know, speak what's on your heart. Just talk to the young people, the people coming up, young creatives, young entrepreneurs. Like if you was talking to one right now, what would you tell them?
I just gave like 3.
It's not for like a photographer though. This is just for like anybody. Like any, you feel what I'm saying?
I mean, like, just keep chasing it. It sounds corny. Like, what you mean keep chasing what? Whatever your heart feels, whatever you want to do, go do it. And just keep chasing it, because a lot of times, like you said earlier, we want like instant gratification and something fast, but like the journey is in a process. The journey is in a process. Like, I wish there was days where I'm like, yo, how do I figure this out? Final Cut. Like, I wish I still could be able to do that and like look on YouTube, like be on there all day, like trying to figure this out. And then when you finally learn it, you're like, all right, bet. I'm about to add these to everything.
Right.
Those are like the good days, man. Like, you know, because everybody want success, and then this, like, that's great. That's a lot of other stuff that come with it too. And that's why the journey prepares you for it. It prepares you for it. So, let me say this: anybody that's like building a brand and like in business and stuff, I know a lot of things with like social media. It'd be like trending audio, trending videos, right? To me, I'm kind of like, when everybody going right, I go left. So like, I tell my team all the time, like when we're doing socials and stuff, we don't care about trending because trends die. Create your own wave and just ride that. And eventually people are going to say you're trending and want to hop on your wave. But so I would just say that, bro, like just turn left every time people turn right. People think they know what you're about to do, just whoop, and just stay with it. But yeah, that's what I would just say, bro.
Well, I appreciate you. Like this interview definitely motivated me. Like it inspired me. Your level of resilience as a photographer, as an entrepreneur, as a person is truly like remarkable. And just like as a black man in the space, recognizing the need for community and then going out your way to build that is something that I don't take lightly. So I want to say thank you for coming up here. We really appreciate that.
No, that mean a lot.
Tell the people where they can find you, where they can find what you got going on.
Yeah, CJ Wolfe on everything. So Instagram, my website. You can catch a lot of my work on there. And then you can keep up with the studio. We got a lot of cool stuff going on. Immortal Vision Studio on everything as well. And just tap in. We're doing a lot of cool stuff. It's just the beginning. And we're super excited for what the future holds.
So there you have it, man. Another episode of The Winners Culture. Shout out once again to my brother CJ Wolfe. You can follow us at 524 Media on you, or subscribe to 524 Media on YouTube, at The Winners Culture on everything, on Apple Music, on Spotify, on Instagram, wherever you get your stuff at. We appreciate you for rocking with us once again. We'll holler at you.
Voice of the hopeless, control the game like the coaches. Stay dropping gems, we the winners culture, you know this. Never coasting, always elevating, staying focused. When it's all said and done, we the winners culture, yeah. We the winners culture.